Welcome back to the Outward Expression. I'm your host, Roman. And what is respect? Tonight, rather than talking about fashion, I wanted to speak to you with regard to the subject of respect. And rather than share a definition with you or try to explain what it is in terms of just a general appraisal of the term respect, I wanted to share a story with you. As a young man, my father was what you might consider a stoic. And my father had a very low opinion of men with beards. And at one point in my life, I was a young married man living on my own. I hadn't seen my father in quite some time. And over the course of time, I took it upon myself to grow a beard. And I'm not even sure what occurred to me to think that that was something that I wanted to do, but it's just something I did. And I found myself in need of some money. And my father had loaned me some money prior to my making this decision. And the time had come for me to repay the loan that he had made. And I chose, now you consider this, I know this, my father has this opinion of men with beards. He had a very low opinion of it. I think he associated them with radicals, with people of a very low moral character, um, uh, revolutionaries, I guess you'd say. And my father was born in the 1920s, therefore, he had reason to form this opinion. I think it's a very valid opinion to form, given the situation that he grew up in. So, therefore, and like I was saying, I owed my father some money. In the Between the time he had loaned me the money and the time it came for me to pay it back, I had grown a rather impressive beard as a young man. It was much darker than what you see here, and I chose to repay him on a Sunday morning, knowing that he would be away from home, probably attending church service. And I thought it was a wise thing to do, to just put the money in an envelope, slip it in the mailbox, and be on my merry way. And as I was approaching his home in Lansing, Illinois, as I pulled into the drive, I noticed that his automobile was parked smartly in the parking spot, and that signaled to me my father was home. And here I am, fully fully festooned with a beard that I had just grown, and I was rather proud of. And what did I do? I backed my car out of the driveway, drove to the nearest gas station, bought a razor blade from the counter, the little dollar razor blades, the big, throwaway razor blades. Got the key to the men's bathroom, went into the men's room, tried to create a lather out of the rather putrid soap that was available in the bathroom, and shaved that beard off with that soap to the best of my ability with a 99-cent Bic razor, leaving my face marked with wounds, bleeding, and um, and yet presentable for my father. Um, I did the best that I could to clean myself up, maybe trim my sideburns so they looked even, and got myself back into my automobile and drove to my father's house and repaid the loan. Now, I'm telling you this story to tell you that pride, or respect rather, is a setting aside of oneself with regard to the object of the respect. In that particular instance, I had took and shaved off a beard that was the work of a month's or a couple of months' labor. Um, and out of respect for my father, in particular with regard to his disdain for men with beards. And while I don't share his disdain for men with beards, I respected that and felt as his son um, that I was duty bound to make that particular decision. And it would be worthwhile to point out that my father was not particularly a saint, but um, as probably most of us have, I mean, I think all people are a mixed bag of very admirable traits and traits that are less admirable. But with regard to my father in this particular instance, I felt that it was not so much that he always earned the respect, but he had it from me in spite of whatever it was his faults may have been. He had that respect by virtue of his office, and that office being that he was my father. And it was I was duty bound, and in um, in service of justice, I owed him that. I did not want him to see me with a beard, and and he didn't. So those are my thoughts on respect. I'd really be interested in what you think of this, um, because this is a story that I'm very I don't tell it often, but when I do, it always brings me into a place of contemplation. So I'd be really interested in what you think of this particular story. I'd love your feedback, whether it be positive or negative. You may find that my response may have been a bit extreme, or perhaps it was appropriate. This is the Outward Expression. I'm Roman. Choose the good.